Hello,
Hi.
good evening for you.
How,
Yes, congratulations, both of you. And your videos are too cute.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
are we
Yeah,
good to go, Manisha?
Yes,
but you've always been one of those people that, I looked up to and,
there is.
just those girl bosses that I support.
I was working with your mom though.
Yes, yes. And I did hear wonderful things about you from her. But yeah, okay, let's get into it. Let's get started.
This is season 4. Manisha, welcome to our podcast show. Thank you so much for your time. It's so nice to have you here. And this is going to be a fun journey. The aim of this podcast episode is going to be to lose at least 10 pounds by the end of the conversation.
If only it was
Okay, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the relationships between food and fitness. It's going to be a fun one. And we have a passionate health educator, if it's okay to call you that, and a nutritionist coach. Like I said to start off, I was so intrigued by your Instagram bio, which says the last dietitian of your life. It's kind of a little scary. I don't know why. I don't know what's the meaning behind that phrase, catchphrase.
So when I start working with someone, most of my clients have had multiple dietitians in the past,
Right,
and they have been hopping on diet plan to diet plan, hopping on one diet trend to another diet trend.
Yeah.
But eventually, what happens is that the foundational health
right,
is never one of the priorities somehow, because the entire focus gets on the weight.
right. Yeah,
And then when they come to me, whatever health journey they started with 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or whatever, they are in a much worse state when they come to me.
okay.
Okay. And when I start working with them, it's not only about you eat this at 9, you eat this at 11 a.m. It's more about how to create a lifestyle which they can follow for their entire life, so
Right,
that they never need to enroll for a diet program
makes sense.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Moni will relate to this. I worked with her mother
Yeah.
4 5 years back, and like we are still open to conversations.
Yeah.
We are still connected on WhatsApp. If she
Right,
ever messages me, I'm still there for
right,
her,
right, right.
right? So that's what the meaning of the last dietitian of your life is.
We love that.
Yeah.
And that how diet culture is just so it's just out there these days in
Yeah.
today's society. And how do you help shift that mindset that individuals have? There's just this certain um culture that everyone has accepted so naturally that, oh, it's so normal to like diet, and if you do not eat a certain food, or you're suddenly seen eating whole foods or a lot of vegetables and fruits, and they're like, oh, you're dieting, but that could just be a regular meal that someone's having, right?
Right.
So how do you help individuals change that mindset?
It's majorly about getting back to our roots, and a lot of that shift happens through conversations which go beyond 9 a.m. you eat this and 11 a.m. you eat that. So when I sit for my sessions with anyone, it's hard. It's a lot of part of that conversation is about what's happening in their life,
Right.
where exactly they are coming from. Like, for example, my usual age range of my clients is 18 to 74.
That's
so whosoever
everyone.
so whosoever starts working with me, they have had definitely a history. They have a family culture. They have certain family patterns that they have picked up. And once you start understanding all of that, and once we bring all of that into one plate, how did you grow up? What were the meals that you were eating when you were growing up? What were the meals that you liked when you were growing up? Is there any food memory that you have, good or bad? Right? That tells me a lot about the person
Right.
as a whole. And then what is the current scenario? What is the work? What is the schedule? What is the travel schedule? What is their family's eating habits? Right? So when we put all of those things on one plate, and then based on that we plan the next week, or the next week, or a month,
Right.
that becomes very sustainable.
Right.
Yeah, because health is something that you need to have that sustainable approach towards, right? It's not just a
Yes,
one-time thing.
exactly. And a lot of times it's also a lot of belief shifting that needs to happen because of that, intermittent 5 year of or 10 years of
Yeah,
diet culture,
yeah,
right? So what I personally feel is that once a person enters into the diet culture, and by that I mean obsessive over numbers, obsessive over weight, weighing scale, checking their weight every day, and all of those things, it requires a lot of belief. I wouldn't say shifting, a lot of belief smashing to get to a normal stage where they are not, where they are worrying about, their actual life, their work, their family, rather than that number.
It's all about unlearning and relearning, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's in fact the reason why my channel is called Renourish, because I
Oh,
seriously believe that our natural state
yeah,
is
right.
of nourishment. Our natural state is of being well fed, but the diet culture mixes up with that and then spoils everything. Now is the time when we relearn all of those things that maybe generationally,
yeah.
3 to 4 generations back, all of our ancestors were doing, but molding that in a way that it fits today's lifestyle.
Kind of sound like a therapist to to the customers, or whoever comes to you for advice. They just lie down on the bed in front of you, and then you ask them
You're
questions.
like
Yeah.
history, your past, your
Yeah.
your present, your
I mean,
future. Tell me everything,
it's basically that, right? You're trying to help that person get to know themselves better. And then,
Yes.
because of the knowledge and the education that you have, they don't have to, start from scratch. You're just giving them you're trying to fill in those gaps that they might have in their lifestyle.
And even
Yeah.
even as you were speaking about asking someone their family meals or meal time and all of that, I was thinking about how even for us, we eat like different foods because we've grown up
Yeah.
so differently, and
Yes.
we prefer eating at different times, and so to find that balance of us cooking together and eating together, that took some time, right?
Yeah. So she's basically my dietitian.
No, let me tell you, Sankalp. Moni used to be one of the fittest girls of the gym.
Yeah. And then
And about the
Sankalp happened. Yeah.
and about the therapist thing, I actually get that a lot. But
Yeah.
then I question myself, isn't every dietitian doing that? I mean, we are supposed to do that, right? And
Right.
if somebody is not doing that, considering that I get people who have worked with multiple people, I feel it's not the fault of dietitians per se. It's as a client, it should be my propaganda to ask the educational background of the person that I'm working with or paying to,
Okay.
right?
Right.
That's something that I teach my students also inside NutriBoss Academy. I teach dietitians how to counsel because that's something which is not taught to us in the college.
Right.
And this is something that I tell my clients as well. Whenever you are paying to a health coach, you're supposed to know their educational background, right? And masters in nutrition is at least the least that they should be looking for.
Yeah.
The Instagram is filled, the world is filled with a lot of people who don't have any credentials and then they're practicing. And I think the entire diet culture actually emerges from that.
Right. Another serious question I wanted to ask Manisha is a bit of a controversial one. Vegetarians or non-vegetarians? Who is on the faster path to having a healthier life?
It's never that black and white actually.
Yeah.
Till the age of 19, I was a non-vegetarian.
Okay.
I left eating meat at the age of 19. And so I'll give you a contrast now. So till the age of 19, I was underweight. Okay. I was eating meat. So protein was not an issue, right? I was still underweight. I used to struggle to get to 40 kgs. So like really stick thin girl. But at the same time, uh, you guys are really young. I'm not sure if you will know that. There used to be an overhead projector where we used to have transparency slides and then we used to present
Yes, yes.
projects,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's some really heavy equipment.
Yeah.
I used to run around that 40 kg girl, 39 kg girl used to run around with that projector because I was a class representative.
Right.
So I was underweight, but strength was there.
Right.
Now, on the contrast, I'm going to be 34 in March. So, very close to double that age.
Right.
And Now I feel from that time, my hair are better, my skin is better, my body parameters are better. My weight is on the right areas of my body. So yeah, I mean, how do you even draw a contrast? I think it's a lot about the lifestyle and the preferences. Like, we live in the time when if somebody wants to turn vegetarian, protein is not going to be an issue,
Yeah.
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So it's
Right.
majorly just about the taste and the ethical beliefs,
Yes.
or the moral beliefs. So if you are someone who wants to have it, I mean, go ahead. I have
Right.
seen a lot of non-vegetarians who are deficient in vitamin D, protein, and muscle mass. And
Right.
I have seen a lot of vegetarians, also vegans, in fact, even at the age of like 55, with perfect B12, perfect vitamin D. So, it goes both ways.
Right. Right.
And it's only about personal preference now, the times that we live in. It's only about the personal preference. If you want to have, go ahead, have it. If you don't want to have, you don't have to worry about your nutritional deficiencies, because that will be taken care of.
You did mention a little bit of your educational background. Let's go back in time to that. How did you,
Yeah.
decide to make, a career out of, this, the passion that you have now to be an educator, a coach, and all of that?
And was this always your first
Is
choice?
this like, does it come from a family background? Did you have some inspiration when you were young? How did it start?
I became a dietitian by accident.
Oh, okay.
So I have my I did my graduation in food technology.
Right.
Okay. So my 11th and 12th, I was a science student, and science is something that I wanted to study. This I knew since the time I knew that knowing was a thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to study science since forever. So 11th and 12th, it was science, biology, and maths both. Usually science students have one, but somehow my school was good enough to offer both. And I had food technology in my graduation, and that too because one of my uncles said that I have a lot of acquaintances in hospitality industry, and they need quality assurance people, and food technology is something that you can do, and then I'll be getting your job. You don't have to worry about it. That's how I did food technology from Delhi University, Shahid
Okay.
Rajguru College of Applied Sciences. And back at our time, I do not know how it is now, but back when we used to have a common form where you can just circle all of the courses that you're interested in.
Right.
So food technology was one of the you know one of many courses that I selected for, and then physics honors, maths honors, and these were I got through them. But then food technology, because it was application based, and I thought that I'll have job security, I went into that. Best decision ever made, because because the teachers were amazing, and I got to learn so much more about the application of science that I think I was craving for. And then I did a post graduation in packaging technology,
Okay.
but I went for my final year internship in Hindustan Unilever, and when I went there, that's when I realized that it's the human body that I'm more interested in, not the packaging materials, not
Okay.
the printing techniques and the plastics. So I came back from Bangalore, started my masters, and the idea till then was to teach about human body. So I wanted to become a lecturer.
Okay.
And during my hospital training of the second year of masters, we are supposed to make diet plans. I started making diet plans and I started to work for people. And then I realized, this is
This
also something I can
Yeah.
do. And yes, the family inspiration, as you were saying, I think that also has a major role to play in what I'm doing today, because my father used to work out.
Mhm.
And when I say workout, I do not mean cardio and going for runs. He used to go for a khada.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
proper weight training.
Yeah.
Like, and now when I connect the dots, I have grown up weight training.
Right.
So, usually for girls, it's all about, I don't know, ghar ghar khelna hai, ya fir tea parties. When there used to be tea parties, I used to play the girl who is late from the office
Oh.
because she had a meeting.
Yeah.
And the physical strength part, and the reason why I talk about muscle training and weight training so much to my clients is because I've grown up doing that. So, and my father he took gender neutrality on a very different level. I remember my earliest memories of like being 9, 10 years old, and my father used to tell me, चलो ये सिलेंडर लेके ऊपर चले जाओ, थर्ड फ्लोर, भरा हुआ सिलेंडर. And I used to do that.
Wow.
And maybe that's why you were able to lift those heavy projectors, despite being underweight,
Yes.
and now it all makes sense, right?
Now it all makes sense. And then, a lot of my clients today, they who know me since so many years, they say, Manisha, आजकल ना बड़े लोग बोल रहे हैं weight training करो. But I remember you told me this thing 7 years back. जब कोई बात नहीं कर रहा था इसके बारे में, आप उस टाइम बोल रहे थे प्रोटीन खाया करो. So yeah, and I think I've grown up with that. So making sense of all of these things was never an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I was fortunate enough to be in the right family and be at the right places at the right time.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, makes sense. But looking at your work now, we noticed that you also speak about hormonal health, right? That's such a central focus of your work. And I remember when we were doing our research, as we do when we have any guests on, and Sankalp was like, what?
I literally asked her, what does that even mean? So, Manisha, if you can do a little 101 of what exactly or how exactly hormones play a part in, health and, wellness. Yeah, that would help me to begin with.
Okay. So the way we function,
Yeah.
each and every aspect of our body, and each and every element, each and every cell and organ of our body, the way it communicates with the brain is through hormones.
Right.
Okay. So hormones, basically, the definition, the book definition is hormones are chemical messengers.
Mhm.
Okay. So brain being the chairman of the body, let's understand the hierarchy. Okay. So brain being the chairman, and then there is pineal gland and pituitary gland and hypothalamus, which are parts of brains, which
Right.
are kind of like the team below the chairman, and they communicate with your endocrine glands, which release hormone and which are spread throughout the body.
Right.
Okay. And hormones work in a hormone works in a I'm trying to find a simpler word for it, but it's called cascade mechanism. It's like so it's a response. It's in constant communication with the brain and the command centers. Okay,
Right.
these glands are constantly in touch with the command centers, which are pituitary gland,
I think
hypothalamus.
the word maybe is relay, like a relay race, or like a tag.
It's not as much of a relay. So, for example, okay, let's talk about that. I think हम सब लोगों ने वो बचपन में वो घर में टैंकी होती थी, which is like there is a bulb, when the water touches that, it's going to be an alarm. पानी की टंकी भर गई है, right? Hormones work like that.
Okay.
Okay, so your command center is going to tell, let's say, your ovaries, okay, your ovaries to make period every month. Okay, it's going to be a 4-step process. Okay, and why I'm calling it a 4-step process, because when the first step gets complete, it's going to be like पानी की टंकी भर गई है, and then the next phase starts.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next phase starts. So that way there are 4 steps. Okay, and similarly there are multiple forms of this पानी की टंकी भर गई है. Like, for example, when we're eating food, there is a point when we know that we are hungry, and we know the point when we are full.
Yes.
How do we know that? That's because of hormones.
Right.
Okay, that initial phase of love, that initial phase of romance, when everything is rosy, when everything looks pink in the world, when your partner can be like, you look like shit, and you'll be like, oh, so cute. That's hormones. Okay. So
Right.
each and every thing that we do inside and outside of our body is governed by hormones. Okay. Now, the thing is, hormones are very sensitive to the way we keep our body.
Right.
Okay. And if our body is not in its natural state, then ये alarm खराब हो जाएगा.
Yeah.
And hence, because it's like a step-by-step process, one step affects the other. That's the reason why there is going to be a hormonal imbalance.
Right.
Okay. It affects females more because females have 3 extra hormones in their body. Okay. And as a result of that, and plus males, they work on a daily cycle. which is called the circadian rhythm, which depends on the sun. Females work on two cycles. One is the sun cycle, which is on an everyday basis, and another one is a 28-day cycle
Right.
or a 30-day cycle. That is our period. Okay, so we are more sensitive to the changes in our environment, our lifestyle, and that's the reason why females have more imbalances. That's the reason why females, you'll see cases of PCOD, which of course is a female centric
Yeah.
issue, but hypothyroidism also can affect both genders, but mostly affects females,
Yes.
right? And I help women with that. I help women reestablish that balance.
So basically, it's not my fault. It's basically a male and a female thing. We're not.
Yeah, I think it's hard for men to know things that they're not affected by. That's just the way they live
Yes.
their life.
We're not. We're not careless. It's just a male and a female thing. That's it. Let's just end on that. Yeah. Yeah.
It is, honestly, it is. And all the conversation about gender neutrality and then equality and all of that, I would say, you can't be equal because you function differently, you talk different languages. We are just coexisting in one ecosystem which runs through both the elements,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So yeah, of course you can educate yourself, right? Like women try to educate themselves about testosterone.
No,
And the max that we know is men will be men, unfortunately.
absolutely.
But
I know there's just so many things that, I was thinking about while you were speaking, is that first of all, the male female differences are obvious. They become more obvious when, you don't have a long-term partner, or for example, like when I had a baby or through my pregnancy, I really saw those differences. I experienced those differences even more predominantly, and it was difficult explaining that to my male partner, right? Because he isn't experiencing those things. He doesn't understand how hormones are affecting his mood today, or his cravings, and yeah, things like that. And it's so important to highlight the importance of hormones in your daily life, which it's unfortunately people make jokes about, oh, she's just being hormonal, oh, she's PMSing, but it is so much deeper than that, right? And this conversation needs to be had. And I think that it's wonderful that you're doing some of the groundwork there, and helping women fix this hormonal imbalance that a few of them, yeah, have to deal with. No, I was just thinking about how you said earlier that, yeah, like I used to be one of the fittest people, and there are many others who you just look at and you see, oh, they have like such a great body, they must be the healthiest person around. And unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. There's so many other aspects of health, like mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual well-being, and it's such a holistic approach, right? And you probably have to deal with that so much, because I remember when I was my fittest, maybe physically, I wasn't in such a great place, and while being pregnant, and after giving birth, postpartum, my journey has been so, of course it's a unique experience, but there's just been so much intuitive eating, and trying to understand and rediscover my hormones, or like the messages that I get, when I know when I'm full, like I know when how much I should eat, and you can't really always count those in calories and numbers. And how do you, I want to ask, how do you make this conversation happen more frequently with your clients? Like, how do you tell them that, hey, this is not the way to go about it, and maybe just their approach is wrong, specifically when you're focusing on holistic aspects of health?
See, firstly, I would want to touch up on the fact that yes, there are a lot of jokes about women being hormonal. The thing is, yes, it doesn't end with that statement. On top of that, if a woman is in sync with her hormones and is actually deeply taking care of herself rather than just surface level weight issues,
Yeah.
you will not have those crests and troughs of hormones also, right? So the natural form of these hormones is supposed to make you productive, is supposed to make your body function just like all the other hormones, like hunger, satiety, flight and fight, and all of those things that our body performs, right? It's so beautiful how all of these four phases that I'm talking about, each phase gives a superpower to a female. Okay, the problem happens when we are trying to push our body to do something else apart from what it is programmed to do in that time,
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
right? Like for example, a lot, it's a very simple example, but all of us do that and have done that at some point or the other. Anywhere between 9 to 10:30 p.m. we have, if we are sitting idle and we are sitting calmly, we'll have that 5 minute of very heavy sleepishness, but we ignore that signal, right? Then we push our body to be awake because it's a project that we are working on, or it's another episode that we want to watch, or pizza is on the way,
Right.
things like that. That's when we are basically rebelling against our body, and then our body rebels. It's not against us, our body thinks that there's something not wrong. That's the reason why we are not getting that message. And then for that also there is another mechanism, which is called flight and fight.
Yeah.
So at that time your stress hormones are going to rise. That's how you gain fat, that's how you get stressed, and that snowballs over a period of time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right, this is something that I even tell, I even openly talk about it on my page, that if you are having a medical issue today in your reports, it's not today that it has happened. It started 10 years back,
Yeah.
Right.
and it has snowballed over the year because you did not fix your patterns, right? And similarly for females, each and every phase, as I was talking about, the first week after our period is the time for new beginnings. So if you start something new, there's a very high chance that you are going to sustain it for a longer time, because your body is in that energy. The second week is all about peeking through, whether it is about the workouts, or it is about the focus, or going out having fun with your friends. The third week is about slowing down, doing more mental work, because your focus is going to be very high at that time, your intuition is very good at that time. And then the fourth week, which is the menstruation, is all about physical rest, and you can do a little bit of mental work, right? The problem is that the entire system is made as per man's clock, which is 10 to 5.
I
10 to 5 you
I
work, and then in the night you sleep, right? And this is the reason why so many women are hormonal, because the normal system doesn't give a damn about whether she is in her fourth phase or a third phase. And at that time she's supposed to push through and then do all of the project work and everything. And that's the reason why body is again rebelling.
Right.
That's
Right.
how the hormonal issues happen,
Right.
right? And it's not a far-fetched thing. A lot of female sports teams are now planning their training as per their menstrual phases, and they are seeing great results.
We all have uh, inspiration. These inspirations happen now and then, to have that good lifestyle and healthy lifestyle. But the motivation to keep it consistent, is very difficult. Do you also do that, with your clients, or how do you exactly, help them stay motivated? Because you can't really be with them 24 hours a day throughout the week, right? What
Yeah.
what words do you usually tell them, to keep them, going in your
uh,
absence?
it's See, I personally feel that motivation can't take care of you 24/7,
Right.
right? Because again, if we talk about hormones, there are going to be multiple phases of even the day,
Right.
right? So some days we are motivated, and some time of the day we are motivated, and other times we are not, right?
Yeah.
So if we start depending on only motivation, then nothing is going to happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, right? It's the discipline which keeps us on the track. And discipline, so once you understand the freedom that a certain discipline brings you, then it's very easy to continue that discipline. Like for example, I give this example a lot on my videos also, and to my clients also. So I wouldn't say that I have ideals, and but there are a lot of people that I look up to. And one of them is Ernestine Shepherd. She is an 85-year-old bodybuilder.
Right.
Okay, she started working out at the age of 56.
Okay.
Okay.
Impressive.
And today, at the age of 85, she trains people. She trains young women for
Right.
workouts. And thinking about it, because of the discipline that she has reached at this point, thanks to that discipline, now she has the freedom to move her body the way she wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So every discipline brings a certain freedom to you. Right?
Right.
Like, for example, if you are not dieting, if you're not counting your calories, but you're listening to your body signals, that is going to be a discipline for you. But when once you start practicing that, then you won't even be worried about eating maybe pizza.
Right.
Because firstly, I make my clients understand exactly how they can plate their food so that they are getting all the nutrients. And apart from that, when you're listening to your body signals, that gives you the freedom to enjoy your life in the terms of food, and your energy levels are going to stay high. So that discipline gives you freedom to live your life the way you want, right?
Right.
Rather than motivation, I would rather, you know, depend on discipline and knowledge of our own body. So being self-aware when exactly to stop, and stopping when your body is telling you to do that, right? Knowing how to plate your food so that you are getting all of the nutrients. So these are the things that I work upon, rather than motivating the neck. Yes, you can do it, and it's hardly we don't talk about those things in our sessions.
Right.
It's majorly about building that mind body connection so that they can uh, you know they can attain the freedom that they're supposed to have.
So many, very specifically about, the happy part of it, right? It's important to enjoy and be happy with the most boring things that you will have to do consistently. And like you
Yeah.
said, very disciplined that you have to be, but you have to learn to enjoy it. You might have to end up eating the same food, having the same routines in a way, but it's really important to cultivate and, uh, uh, consciously or unconsciously enjoy, which is a little sad to say that you have to, you have to consciously be happy about doing it. But yeah, that's the world we're
See,
living in. Yeah.
honestly, if when it comes to food, somehow we just want a new thing every day, and we want variety every day. But firstly, let's be honest. It's like सब्जियां, आप कोई नई सब्जी बता सकते हो?
Yeah.
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 It's not there.
Yeah.
Can you have a new fruit? You can't, right? Plus, if we talk about, whenever you see successful people interviews, you will see that every successful person is a creature of habit,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Like, even if you look at Warren Buffett, and if you look at his life, it's pretty boring.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, look at biggest businessmen. Their lifestyle is going to be boring. Their schedule is going to be boring, right? But when you do those boring things consistently, it gives you massive freedom,
Yeah.
right? Like Warren Buffett having that kind of a boring routine gives him the freedom of money.
Right.
He can buy whatever, but he won't,
Right.
right? And that's the thing, usually fit people get that also. Why do you need to go to the gym? You are already so fit and stuff like that. But the thing is, yes, a person who is fit can afford to not work out, but to have that freedom
Yeah.
is the reason why they work out in the first place,
Yep. Beautiful. Yeah.
right? And if if on my story, or if in a video I'm seen eating a pizza, yes, I can eat that every day, but I won't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When I am eating that, and when I'm enjoying that slice of pizza, that freedom, I am working on my body signals. I'm working on my eating habits, because so that I can have that freedom, right? So,
Yeah.
and the moment you start exploiting freedom, it's gone. It's a
It
thing with freedom.
It sounds like an evil power, to attain. That takes quite a lot of time, but it's, it's a very beautiful trick to have under your hat once you attain that,
Our
freedom.
body is very powerful. Like every single day, I get emotional talking about these things. I've literally cried in conversations where I'm talking about what all our body does, and it's
Yeah,
embarrassing, but yeah, I attend to that.
shows your passion. Nothing embarrassing about it. It just shows your, willingness to learn more about the.
And it's gratitude for
Yeah,
our body. Like the more I am studying, and every now and then I pick up a new course to uh, understand even more about the body. And like recently, I gave my exams for my personal training certification in May. And when I was studying, I started crying because, oh my God, our muscles are so intelligent.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's important to unlock the human body potential, right? Not just the physical aspect of it. Various people, talk about you, like Sadhguru and all of them, talk about unlocking various aspect of yourself. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what,
Which
yeah,
I believe that we don't know the true potential yet,
yeah.
because none of
We
us
don't
truly
know.
use our body the way it's meant to be.
And I seriously feel, all of our Indian mythologies, they talk so much about superpowers.
Yes.
People had superpowers. They used to, they'll say tathastu, and then one thing will shift to another. There'll be shifting, there'll be, people turning into something else.
Yes.
And I feel it was not like a, superpower, it was just a thing that they did
Yes.
because they knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And whatever we don't understand, it's magic for us. But there is actually process to that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Things like, I think even mental superpowers, like for example, manifestation, which is something we strongly believe in. 10 years ago, people would have laughed at you if you said, hey, I manifest things, or I believe in the power of manifestation.
yeah,
And yeah, it's
I am not even kidding. Like this, we can't make this up. But our scriptures, you know, you pick up Hanuman Jalisa.
yeah,
It says Yug Sahastra Yojan Par Bhanu. Bhanu is sun. And these are words used for distance, right?
yes.
And this has already been established that when you multiply these distances, it is the exact distance between Earth and the sun. How did people know that without telescopes, without science? How they just had, like, it was the mental ability and they knew how to unlock it,
Yeah.
right? And what we are doing today, like what I am talking to you about, hormones, and it's sounding like magic, it's nothing in front of that. We don't even know like 1% of what our body can do. It's, yeah, I'm going to
So
cry.
in today's world, the superpowers are completely different. It's having a six pack, eight pack, or being completely unaffected by another person's actions or thoughts. That's another superpower that most people want to have. Or being being in a Zen mode. Having that peace in oneself. That's a kind of another superpower that most people have the thirst to attain.
Yeah.
But let's talk about today. We talked a little bit of the past, and let's talk about today what you're doing. And we saw that you started a new program called Ditch the Diet. What's been the thought process behind that, and what's the purpose?
The purpose is in the name.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I started that program is because one fine day I was just trying to recall all of my clients who have had amazing results with me, and I found that there was one thing common with all of them. They unlocked a very different side of their emotions with
Right.
me, and I was emotionally very close to them. And that doesn't happen with everyone, but I wanted it to be with everyone. So I made a structure in a way that my clients can unlock their emotional blockages in front of me,
Right. Right.
right? And when I made that a program, Digital Diet was born.
And it might seem funny because which dietitian says ditch the diet, right?
Yeah. Looks
And
like,
yeah,
yeah.
no, continue, please.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
So this is the thing, this is where we started the conversation. It's not only about 9 a.m. you eat this, 10 a.m. you eat that, 12 p.m. you eat this. It's about what is going on in your life, you know, what exactly do you want to achieve in your life, and then what kind of schedule is going to be conducive of that, right? Like for example, I'll give you, a normal dietitian, arms zindagi and then mentor zindagi.
Mhm.
So there was this client of mine who called off a bad prospective wedding a few weeks before her wedding. Okay, shifted to a new city, started building her own life, started a new job, and you know, it takes immense courage to do something like that.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
incredibly brave and,
It's
good.
incredibly brave of her,
Yeah.
right? And at that time, when she was being so strong, at times she used to break down in front of me during the sessions, you know, uh, because she could not find the motivation to go to the gym at that particular day, and she did not, feel like eating that particular day. Now, in that time, if I be a regular dietitian and tell her, no, how can you do that? You were supposed to eat sprouts at 4 p.m. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
So, and each one of us has a unique struggle,
Yes.
right? And this is the reason why I never even put out before and afters on my page. Hardly ever. When a client is too enthusiastic about it, yeah, yeah, let's put it. Maybe then I'll do. Otherwise, I hardly, like, you look at my page, you won't find anything, right? But what I actually brag about is that there's this client of mine who was in a very busy job, and then along with that job, now she's able to even pursue a course on the side. She's upgrading herself, right? What I boast about is she had a job and then she has started a side business because now she has energy for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So eventually, whatever your health goal is, that health goal exists because you want to achieve something which you think that the health goal is going to help you achieve,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I am more excited about those things,
Mhm.
right? Like for example, there is this client of mine who actually gave me an interview about this, and she said, Manisha, I'm able to make more money because now I have more energy to work with more clients and charge better because now I have the mindset for it.
Yeah.
Right? I could enjoy Diwali with my family without worrying about, oh my God, I can't eat this, I can't eat that.
Yeah.
And we absolutely love and support that on this show. Women supporting women. Like
Yeah.
that is what I live for.
I live for it. Seriously.
One other thing, Manisha, if you don't mind, sharing, if you're not comfortable, of course, we can, edit this out of the episode. But I did notice that, on your story a few times you posted that you faced, there were trolls body shaming you and, bullying you online, and how do you deal with that negativity? Like it's first of all, it's so unnecessary. It's so disrespectful for people to make those sort of comments, and based on your physical appearance, someone is judging your professionalism. How do you not take that personally, or how do you deal with those sort of people?
I took it personally. So, see, firstly, I was never body shamed before July 2022. 22, yeah. Because I was, always that picture perfect dietitian, you know, super energetic, super thin, super fit, and, nice curvy ass and all of those things, right? But after my marriage, that was the first time in my life when I was just so content with the romantic side of my life.
And it's absolutely okay. Like you're also human, and you also have
Exactly.
a life, and yeah,
Right. Plus, all of the mindset beliefs that Indian girls, are brought up with. सास ऐसी होगी, सास वैसी होगी, तुमको ये सफर करना पड़ेगा, वो सफर. I had all of that, right? But when I got married, I saw a very different side of marriage. You know, my mother-in-law is like, okay. uh, so I think she loves me more than my mother loves me, if that is possible.
that's
That
beautiful.
happens. I can relate to it. Yeah.
You know? And when I was so my father passed away in 2013. Okay. And however, I am portraying this right now, like I'm deeply inspired by him, but at the same time, he was a very strict father, like super strict. Okay. And my father-in-law, on a flip side, is like, I can really chill with him. So, plus my husband, I mean, I think it has to do a lot with how, he was raised by my mother-in-law. Truly understands gender neutrality, truly respects females, truly respects my career. My sister-in-law looks up to me a lot. And this kind of family dynamic was very positive. Like, touch wood, I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And I did not even think about, what I was eating and then how I was doing everything. I did not give a damn, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 months in, and one day we just took out this very old rusty weighing machine from somewhere in the house, and I weighed myself. It was 10 kg above what I last remembered my weight to be,
Right.
because I hardly ever used to check the weight also. And that's when I realized, huh, this is the reason why nothing is fitting me.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
all this while, of course, I was making content also on and off, because, just 4 months of marriage. So I was very inconsistent with the content also. So when I started regularly making content, of course, that extra weight was also showing up on my face. And I am someone who has a heavier upper body, you know. So, as people call it, problematic area, which I seriously don't, I do not believe in that concept. It's just that your body is trying to protect you with gaining weight
Yeah.
in the areas that need the most protection.
Yes.
As simple as that, right? So my body gains weight on the upper body, right? So it shows on my pictures and my videos and everything. And brutal, like, people can be really brutal
Right.
on, Instagram, on social media. It did affect me,
Yeah.
and it affected me because one of my reels went viral. Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like around 8,000 followers for two years almost. So all of the people who were already following me, they knew my journey. So they never said anything.
Yeah.
But when these new, storm of people came, a lot of judgment came with that. Of course, I was affected. And I used to, fight with everyone in the comments. And then my husband saw that happening for like 4, 5, 7 days. And then he's like, what the hell are you doing? And then what he did was, he used to go in my comments, look at the profile of the person, and used to tell me, तुम इससे लड़ रही हो? ये देखो, ये तो रोज छोले भटूरे खाता है.
Yeah.
And वो ये आके तुमको ज्ञान दे रहा है कि तुम तो डाइटिशियन नहीं लगती हो. So yeah, I think, and then you eventually you develop a thick skin, because then you realize that the more people comment on your videos, the more the video goes viral, because Instagram algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine, fight in my comments. Nice. Because there were literally teams in my comments of old people who had already seen me, and these new people who were judging me. So everyone was fighting. And then I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, let me get some popcorn.
Well, that's Instagram for you. You have the positive side of, yes, the sudden fame and popularity, but then also the trolls and, the bullies that come along with
And
that.
that still happens. That still happens. Like,
Yeah.
I'll post a video about, where I'm literally lifting my body weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are, controlling you work out. So when you're making that airbag in your stomach to keep the core tight, and then you'll be like, you need to control your stomach.
Mhm.
You need to lift weights, bro. And then now I don't.
Okay, so we heard about, you dealing with social media, fame, trolls, and everything that comes with it. But Manisha, we loved having you on the show today. There's so much we learned. We're so inspired. And I have one last question for you, which we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
Sankalp, as you must be knowing, means, determination, passion in life, you know.
Yeah.
So today I want to ask you, Manisha, what is your Sankalp?
My sankalp actually is that, see, there are so many people who go hungry to bed every day because food is not available to them.
Right.
Then there is another population of people who goes hungry to the bed while they can afford food because of diet culture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to eradicate that.
Lovely,
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah.
My hope of the episode was to lose some weight, which did not happen, but Manisha is here not just to help you shed some pounds, but she's also here to help you fix your hormones, find a balance, and ultimately, ditch the diet.
Yes.
And it's been such a beautiful journey with you in this episode, walking down the timeline of your journey and your ideologies. And yeah, hopefully listening to this conversation, we help someone transform their life or start their journey, in the direction of that. But thank you so much once again for all your time.
For having me.
We really, really enjoyed it. And I'm sure there's so much education that happened today. I mean, and will soon obviously help listeners out there as well.
Once again, thank you so much, Manisha, for your time, and we'll let you go have your day. And doesn't end here. It's so nice to connect with you through, Mauni, and we'll see where this journey goes.
Yes, thank you so much, Moni. Thank you so much, Sankalp, for having me.
Thank
It
you.
All
was
right.
actually a very lovely conversation.
Thank you, Manisha.
All right, take care.
Take
Bye bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.